Hi, hello, and welcome to look number 4 for my Guerlain Ombre G Quad Week. I'm saying look number 4 question mark because I'm filming this so out of order that, trust me, if you're confused, that's okay, because I'm really confused too. I think this is look number 4 in the way I'm going to upload them on YouTube. But anyway, today we're going to be doing a look with the OG Love. This is the first one that I bought. This is Royal Jungle. But before we get to that, I should probably apply the rest of my makeup. So I'm going to start with my eyeshadow base. This is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, the original one. I'm just going to boop a really good amount here with the applicator. Honestly, the way it applies, I have the feeling this will be finished in like 2 weeks or something. Maybe that's just very deceiving because of the way the packaging works, but it honestly feels to me like in a week or two I'm not going to be able to scoop anything out of here anymore. Since I've been having such a good time with the MAC Studio Water Weight Foundation, I'm also going to use it today. This is the shade NC25, a very beautiful lightweight formula foundation. Apparently I'm not feeling very chatty this morning, so perhaps this is going to be a somewhat more low-key video because it is almost the end of the week and my energy levels are quite low and I still need to savor whatever energy I have left for the rest of the working day because it's gonna be a long day today. I have an experiment ahead with a lot of 1-hour incubation steps. I think there are at least 1, 2, 3. There are 4 incubation steps of an hour with a lot of washing steps in between. So I suspect this is going to be a long day. So we need to savor that energy. I am, however, very pleased with how this foundation is looking on my skin lately. I'm taking the Dior Skin Correct Concealer in the shade 1N as usual. There was a time a couple of months ago when I really wasn't getting along with this foundation and I was also having issues with the NARS Light Reflecting. Now I'm back to having more issues with the NARS Light Reflecting and I'm really loving this one. I do not know what is going on. Apparently my skin is like feeling all over the place, probably because just like the weather outside, so maybe that's the issue. It's the end of March and I've so been looking forward to spring coming. And granted, we've had a few beautiful days here and there, but as a whole it's been rather disappointing again. So I don't quite understand how global warming works, because the way it works in the Netherlands apparently is that it's just like really cold for a really long time, like really cold and really rainy. Then it gets super hot for like 4 weeks and then repeat. Taking the Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder by Charlotte Tilbury because I really like how this foundation performs when combined with this powder. Honestly, I have the feeling that pretty much every foundation I've tried works beautifully with this powder. So I may regret my decision to buy the Hourglass one instead of just repurchasing a backup of this one. But we shall see. I still have quite a bit of product left in here. And I would like to give the Hourglass another go before I decide if I need to repurchase this one too, because to me they're like also like very different type powders. The Hourglass powder is much more like the Dior Backstage powder in terms of the way it works and performs, whereas this one is a completely different beast. Anyway, I'm going to do my brows with the Too Faced Laminating Brow Wax, but I think this is such a boring step, I'm honestly just going to cut it out. So I'll be back with brows done. Speaking of Miss Charlotte Tilbury, I feel like I haven't used her face products on my channel in a while, so that is exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to grab the Sunkissed Glow Bronzer, in the shade Medium 2, which is a cream to powder formula. I really like this formula. Charlotte Tilbury is one of those brands where sometimes they really, like once every 2 years, she releases something that I think is gorgeous, and the rest of the time I'm just not super into it. I don't know why. What do you think about Charlotte Tilbury's makeup brand? Like, we can disregard the type of, you know, persona she has on the internet with the darling. She has a very different type of personality compared to, for example, Lisa Eldridge, which I think is fine. I think it's important that people have different personalities and not everyone will be everyone's cup of tea. I'm much more of a Lisa Eldridge, like quiet, you know, to the point, well-spoken, not fake look. I don't want to say that Charlotte Tilbury is fake, because maybe that is her personality, but at least online it comes across really, really fake, and I'm not into that. I much prefer the low energy from Lisa Eldridge, but that's just, you know, a personal stance. So I'm very curious what you think about her makeup brand, and are you really excited about her new releases? What was the latest release that you were super excited about? At the same time, I have to say, I don't think I've tried anything from Charlotte Tilbury that I've been disappointed by. Granted, I have a very like curated collection of products from her, but everything that I have tried has been a hit for me. I'm also going to take her Glowgasm palette. No, the Beautifying Pillow Talk palette to apply my blush and highlighter, and I usually just mix these two for my blush because they create the most beautiful peachy glowy situation on my cheeks, and I absolutely love the textures of these. You can probably see that they are in a baked formula. They perform beautifully on the skin, they blend out so well, they are super long lasting on the skin, and I really enjoy this. I wish there was a bronzer in here. If there were a bronzer in here, this would be the absolute perfect palette, the absolute perfect travel palette for sure, but also just the perfect palette. I'm going to take the highlighter now. Everything about this palette is just perfect. I do travel with this palette a lot. I know that I don't use it on camera much, and to be honest, like even the rest of the year, I don't really think of it much, but I always travel with it, which is why it has quite a bit of use on it. I'm also going to take the setting spray from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Apply a little bit on my sponge here to melt all the powders. I applied a little bit of my Suicune Moisture Rich lipstick. I'm trying to basically use it up as a lip balm, which is why you can see a little bit of color on my lips now. I had forgotten to apply it before I started filming the video. Alright, going into the Royal Jungle Quad, I want to apply these two shades here. Basically, these are going to be the only two shades that I apply from this quad on my lids. I'm not going to use the dark brown today, and I've done looks with this one over here that I'm going to try to not forget to link in the cards for you, because this is one of my favorite shades out of the whole collection from Guerlain, because it is this beautiful rich like reddish chocolate brown. It's my favorite kind of brown. I really like this shade. It's a rather smoky shade, especially if you apply this one as well. The look gets rather smoky rather quickly, but because I've done like looks with these a little bit more than really with this one, I discovered this one only like last year. I wanted to focus on a look with this like gold bronze-ish type shade, and I'm going to do the thing that I enjoy the most with this eyeshadow, which is sort of like a one and done moment. So I'm going to pop that all over my lids, and I'm going to blend it out. I'm using the Worker Pro from Sonia G. These types of brushes are some of my favorites for applying one and done eyeshadows, because they're a little bit fluffy, but they're also flat, so you can pack and blend. This, by the way, is another eyeshadow that I would top with Rosefire Nectar from the Voyeuristic Vixen Quad. Today I'm going to use a different eyeshadow that I've also used in the past as a topper, but a lot of the times when I use this eyeshadow as a one and done, I will apply a little bit of Rosefire Nectar, because the two are just a marriage made in heaven. Rosefire Nectar is just such a versatile eyeshadow. You can apply it over so many other things, and it always elevates the look. Next I'm going to apply a tiny bit of glitter glue, because I want to have a sticky base in my inner corner for the sparkly shade in the palette. It is a beautiful shade. You can apply it dry, you can apply it wet, and it will be much more punchy if you apply it wet. And I sometimes use it as a topper. It is a beautiful, a little bit more like a subtle type topper, but it is just very, very pretty. This is the one that I'm talking about right here. I've used this shade actually quite a bit, because I will also often use it as a topper when I do the brown eyeshadow over here. The two are just beautiful together. But today I'm going to use it on my inner corner, and I'm also going to take it a little bit over that bronzy brown here in the inner portion of the lids. And this is a much more like sophisticated sparkle, in the sense that the glitter particles are quite small. It's definitely not the level of sparkle that something like Rosefire Nectar will have. And depending on my mood and what I'm going for, sometimes I will just opt for the subtle sparkle that this shade delivers because it is very, very pretty. But today I wanted to show you how this layers with one of Pat's Astral shades. So I am going to apply something much more sparkly in a sec. Time to get that sparkle on. I'm going to take the Astral shade here from the Ritualistic Rose quad from Pat McGrath Lab. This is one of her Blitz Astral quads, and I'm going to just use my finger. And again, just like with the other quad that I used in my first video when I applied Rosefire Nectar, I'm not going to apply glitter glue. I'm not going to apply a whole lot of this. I just want it to be a nice layer of fairy dusting, but like chunkier, more pronounced fairy dusting. You could apply a glitter glue, but I think then you really risk the Astral from Pat completely overtaking the look, and that's not really what I want to achieve when I'm using these quads, because I really just love the actual eyeshadows and the texture of these eyeshadows as it is, and I just want to give them an extra layer of sparkle. So that's the reason I never really apply a glitter glue before I go in with the Pat sparkles. I will keep the look quite simple and just apply the gold eyeshadow on my lower lashes. And let's admire a bit of sparklies here, just in case you were not convinced by my horrible daylighting that this look is very sparkly. Here is some artificial light to convince you. Okay, lipstick. Let's briefly talk about this very bright, clearly not suited for the season color that I'm wearing today. This is one of the new lipsticks from Hermes that I received recently. I mentioned in, I think, the first video from this series that I had ordered a trio set from Vinted. They were, by the way, brand new, untouched, completely like brand spanking new. I don't know how old they were. According to the girl who sold them to me, they are about a year old, but it's very hard to tell because they're limited edition colors. So I bought these three shades, and one of the shades is the one that I have on today. This is the shade Coral Aqua, and as you can see, it is a very bright, like warmer toned coral shade. I don't really know how else to describe it. It is a beautiful, a very vibrant shade. The only similar thing that I could think of for it in my collection was Strawberry Shock, so I've actually swatched them here side by side. This here is Coral Aqua from Hermes, and this is Strawberry Shock. I think Strawberry Shock is so almost looks a little bit more muted, but I also think that's because it's a completely different formula. It is an insanely saturated, but I think they sort of like deliver the same effect, this very like almost neon quality to the coral shade, to the red coral shade, which looks so incredibly vibrant on the lips. So this is more or less like a satin version of the same effect that I could achieve with the insanely saturated from Lisa Eldridge. I'm not too mad at it. I love the satin formula from Hermes. I think it is my favorite from them, which is why I've been so excited to get more colors. Oh, I forgot to show you the outer packaging, of course, with the three colors. This one has a little like teal moment here, a little bit of beige, and the white. And of course, I'm going to show you the other two lipsticks as we go along at some point in time. I'm very curious what you think about this lipstick. What did you think about the look? The look is very, very simple, but like I said, these are the type of looks that I tend to do when I use these palettes. I really like to keep them simple and a little bit more low-key, and today especially I had in mind that I'm going to wear this really bright lipstick, so I didn't want to take away too much from it, so I wanted to keep the eye look a bit more toned down. I hope that you enjoyed it. Do let me know what you thought about everything. I'm sorry that maybe I was a little bit more low-key today. I do feel a bit tired and I do have a very long day ahead of me, so I'm going to get going. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow for the last look of this series. Bye!